If I told you that you can actually lose weight, lose a lot of weight, a lot of fat, without dieting 1 second of your life, would you believe me? And if you think I'm crazy saying that, let me tell you something even crazier. That if you're a Muslim, you can actually find better ways to lose weight by just using the Quran and the Sunnah. And if you don't believe me here, well, that's fine. But I think you should really watch to the end of the video so I can prove you wrong in this in a good way, so that you don't have to waste time doing all of these diets out there or track food and weigh them and calories and all that boring stuff, right? And oh, by the way, if you are looking at me and thinking, hold on, Simon, or whatever your name is, why are you sitting there on your couch in front of an artificial plant trying to tell us Muslims how to live our lives? Are you even a Muslim? You have like blue eyes and tattoos. And believe it or not, no, I'm not an undercover Muslim or something like that. I am actually a Muslim, alhamdulillah. I took my Shahada 8 years ago and it changed my life ever since. And if you want to know the story, the whole background, how I got there to here, living in Dubai, helping Muslims lose their belly fat without dieting, well, I would really suggest you watching the first video in this 7-part mini-series. So this video is actually going to be the 3rd episode where we will talk all about nutrition, not dieting, and how you as a Muslim can actually lose weight by using the Sunnah and all the things that are backed up by the science as well. So let's get down to it, shall we? Now, if you decided to not watch any of the previous videos and you're looking at this and thinking, what is going on here? Let me give you a brief update. So this is the same system I help Muslim brothers and sisters all around the world to get rid of the belly fat, become more consistent, and yes, getting closer to Allah at the same time. As you can see, we have nutrition, exercise, habits, mindset, and support. All of them needed to create a consistent lifestyle that is healthy as a Muslim. And now today, if you haven't figured out already, or if you were sleeping in an intro, we are going to talk about nutrition. And to set the tone here, modern Muslims today, both brothers and sisters, especially those that are very busy with family and work, we have 3 parts of our nutrition. And let me go through them a little bit, because this is going to be really important to how we're going to solve this, right? So the basic is probably the daily eating you do. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever you eat. You might skip breakfast, you might skip lunch, doesn't matter. The daily eating, the meals you eat on a daily basis. And then you're going to have all the things in between, right? So that's something we call snacking. And this could be fluids, it could be solids, right? It can be drinks or something you eat. And then you probably, if you're like everyone else, you probably eat out. Either once a week, multiple times a week, it doesn't really matter. The idea here is, and by the way, you might think, okay, but Simon, didn't you say like daily eating is everything you eat during the day? Sure, but you want to have another part for the days you eat out, because that is going to be really crucial. Because you might know, if you haven't followed a diet yet, the only thing diets are doing, they tell you like, okay, you want now count calories when you eat these things, and snacking, no, eating out, definitely not. So that is obviously not going to be very consistent, right? Or sustainable. So the eating out thing is something you want to differentiate between the home cooked meals and the meals you eat outside, right? Now, the thing is here, or the problem I would say, is that when you follow a diet, the only thing a diet is really doing is haramifying. So a new word I came up with, haramifying halal foods, because it's not that, look, in Islam, we have foods that are haram, right? We know pork, we don't eat it. We don't eat certain, animals that haven't been slaughtered or whatnot, right? And we stay away from everything that's intoxicating. But all the other things, what about that? Like, can you really say you shouldn't eat sugar and make that kind of haram for you? No. Why should you, right? And the thing is here, like in Islam, we work with principles. For example, we have a principle of you should not do any harm to others, nor yourself. So if there are certain foods that are harming you as an individual, it might not harm me or someone else, but it might harm you, then that is not something you should eat, right? Obviously, this is something you should be advised by doctors or professionals, not a Google search, right? And just to really emphasize on my point here, the problem with diets is another thing. They don't really work. And it's not me saying it. There's actually been a lot of research on this. So 60 years worth of research, by the way. And this is one of the latest ones from 2022. And this is from the Ohio State University. And they concluded that 95% of people that follow diets, they end up regaining the weight they've lost. That's a really bad number, if you ask me. And just to like prove my point even clearer, like I said, the scientific community, they've known this, right? Research, it shows this, right? And the numbers might vary, but this is like one of the recent ones. Now, what does this mean? Well, it means that you have a better shot at beating cancer with the methods, with the treatments we have today, with the will of Allah, than to lose weight with traditional dieting. And it's not a small number or a small difference. It's actually 25% versus 5%. So the 25% is like the lowest rate of success, like success rate when treating cancer, depending on the cancer, obviously. But like in general, versus 5%, success rate. This is a 500% difference. So you're 5 times more likely to beat cancer than losing weight with a diet. So I hope, hopefully you kind of understand the reality here. Why I'm always saying, if you have watched my other videos, I'm always saying that diets, they do not work. And when I say they do not work, I don't mean like they are giving you results, but results are not something you just want for a couple of months and then, regain that. So that's why diets never work. But here's a little question for you. What if you could both eat the cake and keep it at the same time? It sounds like a paradox, but is it really? I mean, these people, just to mention a few, they've done it. For example, we got Affan. After 6 weeks, he lost his whole belly, the belly fat, and he started to pray Fajr on time using this system. And we got Muhammad here that has a really interesting backstory. So I worked with him for, a couple of years ago, and he lost 10 kilos. And that's great, like amazing. Most people want to lose that. And then after the program, he went MIA. I think he changed number or something. But then suddenly he popped into my free community on school. And that's something, if you haven't joined, I would really recommend, by the way. You can find a link in the description. Anyways, and he wrote this, and he said that he is now 25 kilos down. So he lost more weight after the program than in the program. Does that mean that the program don't work? Quite the opposite, because if diets are just a short-term solution to your health and you end up regaining the weight, well, isn't this better? Like you lose weight and you continue to lose weight and get in shape over and over again, right? Until you reach your dream goal or dream body, right? And then we obviously have this for sisters as well. We got a revert sister from Sweden, my country. She lost 13 kilos of fat. All of this without following diets. Crazy, right? So you might sit there behind the screen and you might scratch your head like this and ask, like, how is this possible? Are you selling some kind of diet pill or something? No pills, I promise. I really promise. The answer is quite simple. It's actually something I called, not drawing like this, it's something I called, if we go down here, lifestyle eating. And why I called it lifestyle eating, it's because it actually fits into your lifestyle. No matter what lifestyle, no matter if you like to eat Pakistani food, or if you want to eat fast food, if you want to snack, whatever. This is designed to fit your lifestyle, just as Islam is for all places, all times, and all people. Using principles like timeless principles, just like the 5-pillar protocol I showed you in the beginning with the 5 pillars, you can actually make anyone follow this in their own pace, in their own life, and it will get the same results like anyone else, like same amazing results like anyone else that live a completely different life, right? So let's take a look at it. What could it be? So remember when I told you in the beginning that, the modern Muslim or the modern business Muslim had 3 parts to their nutrition. We have the daily eating, and we have the snacking and the eating out, right? So what this lifestyle eating does is basically flips this. So we have, instead of daily eating, we have a daily fuel plan. The idea here is that you want to fuel your body to optimize and get more energy, improve your digestion, improve your metabolism, and eventually, obviously, burn fat efficiently. And then you have snack hacking. So this means that you can still allow yourself to snack on the foods and the snacks you love without it affecting your, weight loss journey, right? And this is going to really help you to be consistent in this. And then you have the out eating map, because believe it or not, like, it's going to be very hard for you to follow a diet, especially if you get invited to dinners, weddings, you got Eid twice a year, you go on Umrah and all these things. Like, I don't know how you would follow a diet in those circumstances. And I see this happening over and over again. People that follow diets, they end up, quitting the diet and, pausing it or whatever, leaving it for, after they've done these things, like they go on a vacation and stuff. The idea with lifestyle eating is to include all of these things, all of these occasions, and let that be a part of your life. Because if you can do that, then nothing can really, disturb your weight loss journey, right? If you have something that works for every situation and every time, right? So let's take a look at the details, shall we? So let's start with the daily fuel plan, right? So how does it work? Well, it optimizes energy, metabolism, digestion, and fat burn, right? Like I said. And there are two approaches in this. You can go ahead and do a structured approach, right? Or you can do a flexible one, right? There are two approaches. That's it. So the structured one is more strict in its nature. So it's usually, you count your calories, you weigh the foods, or you follow a meal plan, you meal prep. It's a very structured way of, approaching your food. Now, the thing is, what I've noticed it with the clients I coach, like hundreds or even maybe thousands now over the past half a decade, I've noticed like less than 5% of people can actually do this. And half of them, they don't even do like the structured approach 100%. They kind of combine these two, right? So it becomes like a hybrid. So if less than 5% can do it, why do people recommend, like, why are diets recommended at all? And this also goes back to the study I showed you. 95% of people regain their weight after diets. This follows the same numbers. Like, only 5% of people can actually do it because it matches their lifestyle, right? So we want to have something that can match your lifestyle. So you probably, I can almost guarantee you watching, you have a problem with food because you cannot find a flexible way, a flexible approach. And there are many ways to do it. You can have a portion-based approach. You look at the portions you eat, and you look at, the foods you put on the plate, not the food itself, but the distribution, the ratio. Or you can have a time-based approach, which is, many people do this, by the way, like intermittent fasting or eating windows and stuff like that. I don't really have time to go into detail and in depth in this. You can find all of that in the community, by the way, in the link down below, where I go like in details in the different approaches, what kind of methods you can use. But I can almost guarantee that you need to have a flexible approach in your daily fuel plan, right? So it might be that, for example, I can give you an example actually. Yeah, let's do it like this. So one example I do is a portion. Wow. Sorry about my handwriting. A portion-based one. So one of the methods I use is a modified portion control. So it's not like some portion control, they use the hand, like, the size of the hand and whatnot. But this one is much easier, right? So there are different levels. One very common one is level 2, right? So what does it mean, right? Each level means that you either remove something or add something or modify something, right? You make changes. So level 2 means 2 changes. And the most common changes we do, let's, start with first one is half carbs, okay? So what does it mean? So every carb source you eat during the day in your daily eating, breakfast, lunch, dinner, you eat half of it. So instead of a full bowl of rice, you eat half of it, right? And then you can do also the second one, which is double protein, right? So every protein source, you got vegetarian protein, you got eggs, you got dairy, you got meat, chicken, fish, you double that. So instead of eating 2-3 drumsticks of chicken, you double it. So it becomes like, 4-5 drumsticks. So what happens is the same size, like the portion is the same size, but because you're changing the ratio a little bit, and protein being much like more important than carbs. You can actually live without carbs, but protein is essential to live and survive. Your skin is going to improve, your hair, your metabolism, your recovery, your sleep, like energy levels. All of these things are going to improve just because you're eating more protein, right? So that's one of like just a quick example, of a daily fuel plan you could follow. What about snack hacking? There are many different things here. Here are like the three common ones. And just, for the sake of time, I'll just go through this one. This one is really popular and I really like it. It's very easy, So the idea with snacking, like I said, is to have a system where you approach your snacking without having crazy restrictions, that leads to binge eating. So the stoplight method is this. You have obviously, if you've ever seen a stoplight before, you have, what is it? Green, yellow, red, like this, right? So the green, so by the way, disclaimer here, I never talk about food being healthy versus unhealthy. This does not make sense. Categorizing like this makes much more sense. So for example, what is the green one? Well, the green one is, all the snacks that are high in nutritional value and low in energy. So low calories, maybe high in protein or other stuff. For example, we got fruits, we got veggies, we got popcorn, we even got, protein powder, protein shake if you do supplements. They're all on the green side, like the green category. What does this mean? Well, it means that it is unlimited, right? Unlimited. Cool. You can just go crazy, right? This is really good because sometimes you get really hungry and you don't know what to do and it leads to binge eating, right? Or ordering a pizza. So we kind of want to stop that behavior early on. Then the yellow one is kind of in between. So this is, all the snacks that are high in nutritional value and low in energy. Oh, sorry. High in nutritional value, high in energy. That's it. So you got a lot of quote unquote healthy foods. You got nuts, dried fruits, dates, avocados, different types of oils. I would even almost put oils on the red one. Anyways, what we do is we just do one modification. We want to put we don't want to make it unlimited. We want to put a roof over your head. So this could be a limitation. You create a limit, not a restriction, but a limit. So this could be like, usually what I do is like, okay, if you snack 4 times a day, just reduce that by half. Or let's say you do 2 times and you reduce that to 1. So let's say you do 4, right? But you reduce it to 2 times a day for the yellow category, right? But then we got the red category, right? So this is obviously everything that is high in energy, in calories, and low in nutritional value. Obviously all sweets, biscuits, and stuff like that. Now, we want to follow the same limit system as the yellow. So the yellow and the red, they share the same system. So if you snack 4 times a day and you reduce it to like 2 times a day, you can pick if you want to do red or yellow those 2 times. But you have an additional thing for the red one. You have a so-called compensation, right? So every red snack you eat, you want to compensate it and balance your week out. This could mean that the next meal you have, you remove the carbs completely. Let's say, for example, what I did the other day was we went out, we had some sweets, ate some donuts, and I just skipped breakfast. I had a protein shake and some fruit. So the green category, right? And then I even skipped dinner. I didn't have carbs for dinner. And then when we went out and were eating the sweets, so what I did was I was saving up the energy from the other meals and using that energy to eat the red snack, right? So I was compensating. So this is a really simple method. Instead of just stop snacking, which never works anyway, you can do that, right? And then you have the other ones. Again, you can find them in the community, inshallah. And then we got the out eating map. So this is when you eat out. Foods that you eat out, you have 2 categories let's say 2 categories. You have fast food and slow food. So just to make things simple, fast food are those food that are very processed and you get them within 5 minutes. Fast food, right? Burger, pizza, and all that. Slow foods are more traditional food. If you go to a normal restaurant, you might have to wait 30, 40 minutes. Maybe they're making the meal from scratch, right? This is often, those types of food or meals that are less processed. So you can work differently. So for the sake of, this strategy, to make it simple, let's see fast food. What can you do there? Well, fast food, you can use something I call the modified menu. So when I have a client and they say, Simon, I go to this restaurant and this restaurant, and I'm like, cool. Send me their menu, take a picture, I can find it online. And then I take a look at the menu and see how can we modify the menu and make sure that it can be aligned with their weight loss journey. So it can be simple swaps here and there, right? So for example, I had a guy, a doctor, he was eating like at KFC, and he was eating like these crazy, like I think it was like 1,500 calories in one meal. I was like, look, let me help you. So I created a modified menu. So I gave him 3 options, and all of the options were under 500 calories and had a lot of protein. And then he ate this and he said, Simon, I can't believe it. I went to the same place. I just ordered from this menu you made me. I feel more full, I feel lighter, and I don't have this, the food coma you get. Yeah, because the idea here is to reduce the processed side of things, increase the protein. It's almost like the portion-based approach, but instead of going to the restaurant, you're like, what should I order? What should I, and you're hungry, you just order the most juiciest burger, the picture, whatever. Instead, you have a menu you already know. You don't have to think. So you go to the cashier, you say, I want this one, or I want this one. So this is a very easy thing. So you can actually, what I do, for example, you can grab a menu, you can put it in ChatGPT, just copy it, and tell ChatGPT, give me 3 options from this menu that are less than 500 calories. And if it can do that, right? Or give me like ways I can modify the menu, modify the meal so it becomes less than 500 calories. And you're going to get those options. It's very, very simple, but extremely useful, when you're eating out. So, for example, that's what I like. I already have everything in my head. When I go to a restaurant or anywhere, I already have it programmed. So it's almost like automatically I know, okay, is it a sandwich shop or a burger place or a pizza shop, whatever? I know already what I can do, right? And now there are going to be times where this won't be possible. So this is not a bulletproof option. So that's why we can go to the next level. We can compensate it. Very similar to the snacking strategy I talked about. The red category, you compensate it. You do the same thing, but obviously, like when you eat a pizza, you might want to remove a meal completely. So if you're going to eat one day, you eat breakfast, lunch, dinner, and for dinner you go and eat a pizza. Well, why don't you just skip lunch as well, right? So you save that energy and eat that pizza guilt-free, right? So these are like one of the options you could do. And you might want to, but what about the slow food? Well, the slow food, usually you can follow the daily fuel plan for that. Because when I go to a restaurant, when I order chicken Alfredo, for example, I tell them, like, look, I want less pasta, put less pasta than we usually do, and give me more food, right? It's very easy for them to, because they're making it from scratch. But if you go to a fast food joint, they already have it planned out. Like they have a system. That's why it's fast, right? So then you need to compensate it or you use the modified menu or whatnot, right? So these are just examples. And the idea here is, look, you want to build a baseline, right? It doesn't have to be perfect, but you need to build a baseline where you can be consistent. If you're not consistent, you can never make it better. Like it's impossible. And what is consistency? Because I think people kind of misunderstand this a lot. So I use something called the consistency formula. And this is actually something you can find in almost all acts of worship in Islam. Let's take the prayer, for example, right? So you got structure, right? This is like knowing what to do and how to do it. Do we have that in the prayer? Yes, we do. We know it's 5 times a day. You got to do ruku, sujud, and we have these times, like, structure. Because if you don't have structure, you cannot even start, right? And then you want to have flexibility. Because there are going to be times where that structure you have is not going to be possible. That's why strict dieting, it never works. So do we have that for the salah with the prayer? Yes, we do, right? When you're sick, you don't have to stand up. You can sit down or lie down. For the, sisters watching, you don't even have to pray for, a week during the month. And if you're traveling, you can combine the prayers, Dhuhr with Asr, Maghrib with Isha. You can, you can make them shorter, right? Instead of 4 rakat for Dhuhr, you make them 2 rakat, right? Flexibility. Because something that's going to be consistent, it needs to be flexible. And then you have accountability, right? And that's something we have with the prayer. We know that we will be asked about the prayer on the day of judgment in front of Allah. For example, when you go to the mosque and you're not there, people should ask about you. Like, where's Simon? Where is he? Like, holding up? Is he sick or something like that, right? So there's a lot of, like, it's a system of consistency. So this is why, like, this whole lifestyle eating, the sole purpose is to make you consistent by following a structure, being flexible in that structure, and helping you to be accountable, right? And let me actually show you, like, for example, you already saw a fan, right? This is an example. So this is what we did. He started out, like, when he came to me, he had done dieting for 6 months and he still looked like like this, unfortunately. And he did eat like one meal a day. He did something like that. I'm like, bro, listen, it looks really like you need to eat more food because you're starving your body. So the daily fuel plan, you can see it right here, right? So actually, let's take a look. So I told them, instead of having one big meal, at least follow the Ramadan diet, right? Like, not fasting, but having one big meal, one smaller meal, and a snack if you have to, right? And you have like iftar, suhoor, and maybe a snack in between. So he started with breakfast. So I told him, look, you need to have some kind of protein. So he had the yogurt, right? And you can have anything else, like carbs, really good, fiber, like good things, but really like what he liked. And then snack, you can see sometimes he went eating out, and sometimes he just had a sweet. So you can see that we did the snack hacking or the out eating map for these like 2 days or 2 occasions. And then for the dinner, we followed the portion control. So he had a lot of, like, he ate the same food. Like, that's the thing. You don't have to change the food you eat. He loved biryani. He loved French fries. So we made that work in his lifestyle and his schedule. So we just made sure that, less rice, for example, and more, chicken. So, and for example, this is a routine we had. So he was tracking this in the coaching app. So he had, eating, he was logging the food, taking pictures, like I said, and he wanted to eat before 9 p.m. because he had problem with the digestion and didn't want that to affect his sleep, right? And also hydration, by the way, this is really important. An electrolyte cocktail, that's really cool. By the way, an electrolyte cocktail, this is perfect, especially if you're gonna fast. You take, around this, like 500 milliliters, right? For those who use ounces, like 16 ounces. And then you put lemon in it and a little bit of salt, Himalayan salt, not table salt, Himalayan salt or sea salt. And this is going to increase the electrolytes you get, and it's going to remove all headache you have, and it's going to make you hydrated like you've never been before, right? So that's a little awesome hack I have. And look, if this sounds interesting, and you're like, but I want to do this, but I'm not really sure how to do it, unless you join the free community or you're trying to do the things I showed you. I actually have a program called the Stronger Muslim Mentorship. And this is a program that helps busy Muslims lose their belly fat while getting closer to Allah without diet and gym workout plans. So let me show you how it looks like and see if it's something for you, right? So it's a 1-year program with different parts to it. So the first part is a 16-week mentorship. How it works is we want to implement the 5-pillar protocol. So the first month, what we do, we focus on structure. All right. So we jump on a onboarding call. That's what we do, just so we can map out your lifestyle, where you are right now, the baseline. And then we can create a lifestyle plan, move that baseline to a place that actually going to help you reach your goals without sacrificing, living like a normal person. And that's going to become a daily routine, very similar to what I showed you with Afan with the different habits. And that's the first month, like just focus on the structure, right? The first part of the consistency formula. And the rest of the mentorship, the rest of 3 months, that's where we focus on the rest of the 5-pillar protocol and the consistency. So that means that we have weekly guidance in terms of, coaching calls, Q&As, workshops, giving the guidance you need. But not only that, you need support. And this is what accountability is, guidance and support. So the support, for example, I write every day to the people I work with, checking up, how they're doing, the progress they're doing or making, if they have any issues or struggles, and we can fix that, right away. So that's really important, like a daily support. And then obviously change the mindset. A lot of people I work with, they have a really negative mindset, procrastination, perfectionism, and like that's just gonna make, if you have that, it doesn't matter what you do. Like, you got to change what's within yourself, and then other things going to change. Just like the verse in the Quran, right? So this is that first 16 weeks. And then rest of the year, That's the way you create that and build that into a lifestyle and focus on the longevity. So you still have for the rest of the year access to the app, access to the 5-pillar protocol that we laid out, but also the support that you need, right? So if that sounds interesting and you're like, hold on a minute, I want to do that. No problem. What I would suggest then is to, let's see, there, maybe, if I can put a video there. So yeah, watch this video or here. I don't know where it is. Wherever it pops up on the screen, watch that. And it's going to go into detail, about the program, what it is, how you can get started, if it is for you even, right? I didn't want to make this video too long, but this is anyways the third episode of the 7-part mini course. So inshallah, as you probably figured out, in the next episode, we talk about exercise, inshallah ta'ala. And that's going to be really cool. But yeah, if you haven't watched the other parts, make sure to watch them. Watch that video I told you about if you want to join the Stronger Muslim program, the mentorship, inshallah. And until then, stay safe, stay blessed, and stay healthy. All right? Assalamu alaikum.